ain't afraid to shout. Make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise. Fighting woke moms and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Lips BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truth to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey, what's up? It is, like you just heard Vince say, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince, episode 120, and we're back after a vacation, right?
Well, yeah.
We've only had one show since leaving the Patriots Prayer Network, which no hard feelings there, just different directions, and took a vacation. We're back with episode 121. It is June 18th. You know what tomorrow is?
Juneteenth.
Is it Juneteenth?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was something else.
Some black holiday.
Is it? Yeah. No, it's crazy shit. But anyways, what's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Leo. Hey, like Mike just said, episode 1.
Why does it do that?
We got people going overseas. We got, what do you guys want to chit chat, man?
We got a lot to talk about tonight. I got a whole lineup of stuff. Because we weren't around, there was the King's Day. We missed King's Day, the military parade for the Army's 250th birthday, and there was a lot going on in LA since we were live on the air.
Yeah, that's
military troops have been deployed. The National Guard was taken over from the governor to the president's authority, and of course, the governor being a liberal radical and is bashing Trump all over social media, and it's just really bad. I mean, and immigration is always going to be, well, one thing's always a given almost in what we do here on Wednesday nights is Trump's always going to be a part of some part of our conversation because it's just how it is in the news cycle. And immigration right now seems to be a staple in everything that's tugging on emotions. So
okay, so let me ask you this, right? So what color of a state is California?
Well, it's definitely a blue state.
Okay.
Yeah.
What color is the state of Florida? I'm saying these because these are the two main states. These are the two.
It's most. We're supposed to be red.
We're we're purple.
We're very purple because
on the thread.
I'm just saying this because these two states are the two states that have more Hispanics, I would say, in each state, right?
I don't know. Maybe Texas.
Okay, Texas is another one. What color of state is Texas?
They're definitely red. They're not purple.
Okay. So why isn't this stuff happening in these states?
Because those states won't put up with that shit.
Why?
We just have stricter laws and more freedoms for people to enjoy their liberty, not be infringed upon by some assholes blocking the road.
Right.
And that's the video I didn't pull up with some Steve Hyman.
So these are the people that say don't have any weapons, right?
Yes. Gun-free zones.
Turn in your weapons.
Sanctuary cities.
Right? So turn in your weapons, right? If we tell you to take 4, 5, 6, 8 COVID vaccines, take it. Okay? They take it. If they tell you to stay home, you stay home, right? Because you're listening to
your social distance.
You're listening to whoever. You're not listening to a king, but you're listening to somebody else being a king. They tell them to social distance 6 feet apart. You listen. The entire world listened. Not just some of us. The entire world was listening. I'm just going to this because it's like you guys saying that it's like, oh, it was King's Day this and King's Day that. Like there was no
King's
like
Day.
There is no such thing as King's Day. Like you guys are making that up. You guys are the ones putting that stuff out there. Like no King's Day on lockdowns. Like let's lock this place down. You can't go here because of COVID, or you can't do this because of you didn't take this vaccine, or you can't come into my store because you're letting people come in here without a mask. Like you're telling me that's not somebody giving you authorities and being king of telling you what to do and how you live your life. You know,
Yeah,
like how many
it's
boosters
not a matter
of the
of, like,
vaccine do we
it's
have out there?
it's
You know,
not
like,
their choice of kings because they still follow the leader like their subjects when it was Joe Biden or Barack Obama. Some of them.
right.
Some of them are just there to
Well,
cause some shit.
Let me ask you. So, has the king demanded anything? Are you doing anything on a daily basis, Leo, or have you been affected by the king?
I don't have a king. There is
Well,
no
that's fine.
king.
But it is your day?
My
Has
king
Donald
is-
Trump forced anything on you like that, where like a king says, "Hey, you got to mask up," or the king says you got to take your COVID shots? Since he's been in office,
No, this is what he told me. Oh, you want to be an American? You got to get your ass and go to work.
we got to
That's
follow the
pretty
law.
much that's pretty much what he told me. Or it's pretty much what he said. Oh, you want to be an American? You want to represent America? Okay, well, you need to go to work. You need to go do what an American needs to go do. You need to go to work. You need to do better for yourself. Oh, you need a little hand? Okay, I'll help you out for a little bit. But other than that, I'm gonna cut you off. You know, like I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot of emotions, man, out there, and it's just we got to move forward, as Obama said, right?
Yeah,
Moving forward. This is what you guys are all about.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Okay, move forward. Then don't leave the back in the back. Move forward. Listen
Right.
to Obama. Then
With all of that going on in protest of the ICE raids, right? Trump still hasn't deported as many illegal immigrants as Barack Obama, even Joe Biden, even with him letting a lot in, he still deported quite a bit. George Bush deported quite a bit. Bill Clinton deported quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a video.
Trump's only deported like 1% of what they did.
There's a video out there
10%.
where Trump is saying his speech about deportation and Barack Obama side by side are playing the same speech. Literally word for word, Barack Obama and Trump's speech was almost identical about immigration and deportation. But when Trump did it, it was racist. When Barack did
Right.
it, he was a hero for it.
Yeah. So, well, here is an immigrant everybody knows, and here's his take on that.
You're an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country.
Let me apologize for putting her on our screen, but here's Arnold Schwarzenegger on The View.
Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21
Yeah, I can't hear it.
with absolutely nothing.
I didn't
And
hear
then
our
to
intro
create
either.
a career like that. I mean, in no other
hear
country in the world
I don't hear.
could you do that. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity. And I think because I'm such a proud American and a proud immigrant that came to America, I was asked to do, on July 4th, a big speech, the keynote speech at Mount Vernon.
Now, we all know Arnold is an immigrant from Austria, I believe, and he knows what living in a shithole is, and he kind of worked his way up. I don't know his whole story, but
That George Washington was laid to rest, and where he lived and all that, to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, the existence of America. And I will be doing the speech there. They asked me because I'm an immigrant, and there will be 7,000 some people there, and there will be people that will be sworn in and will become citizens that day.
That's great.
So it's really a great celebration.
Yeah,
This
that's
is what
great
this
they
is
say.
all about, is to celebrate people becoming Americans and coming to America and all that. And so I just think the world of the great kind of a history that we have with immigrants in America. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, you know. So you got to do things legal,
He
and
did
those
not
people
say
that are
legal,
doing
did he?
illegal things in America
an
and they're the
impressive
foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest, and you have to behave like a guest. Like when I go to someone's house and I'm a guest, then I will do everything I can to keep things clean and to make my bed. And to
Look at
trying to tell him
look
to
at
stop.
that. Look at
Tell
that.
him
Look.
trying to help.
Someone's like,
But-
oh yeah, but don't you mean this? Like they're gonna try, like you're saying, they're trying to drive the narrative. Like this is the view, but
do everything that is the right thing to
going
do
off fucking
rather
track.
than committing a crime or being
Look at that.
abusive or something like that.
We're
So
running out
that
of
doesn't
time
really
here.
work in this country. So I think
We're running
the
out of time
important
here,
thing
yeah.
is
I don't know
when
who
you
the
become an
person
immigrant,
is.
to think about, okay, I go to America because I want to use America for the great opportunities that America has in education, in jobs, creating a family, all of those kind of things. Then you have to think about, okay, if I get all of those things from America, then I have to give something back. But you have a responsibility as an immigrant to give back to America and to pay back to America and to go and do something for your community for no money whatsoever. Give something back to after-school programs, Special Olympics, or whatever it is. Make this country a better place.
Arnold, don't forget.
He's one of those fake rhinos who pretended to be
But wasn't he
conservative.
California though?
He was a Republican governor of California, but he was
Oh,
very
Trump!
liberal. Trolls in the comment section, thanks for showing up, man. We appreciate you. And I'm sure this conversation leading into the next is definitely one Troll will have an opinion about, and that is what's going on in the Middle East. We talked about the No Kings Day. We've got some stuff like that. We can circle back to that, but I think most importantly right now is the looming threat of World War III, and Israel's attacking Iran. Sure, pal. Israel's attacking Iran. There's worry that we're going to get dragged into it. Trump has been consistent about not letting Iran have a nuclear weapon, but at this point, I think we're okay with that now. Like them not having it, they're not going to have it. I think Israel's doing whatever the hell Israel's going to do, and I don't think we should be sending a bunch of resources to the region to inflame things. I mean, I get global politics and stuff like that, but how do you guys feel about what looks like unwavering support for Israel, when in fact I do believe a lot of our interests align in preservation for our own sakes, but it definitely looks in most cases that Israel, or the Jews that control Israel, control a lot more than just Israel.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about this war, Israel attacking Iran? Now, let's keep this in mind. They're attacking based on self-defense of something that hasn't happened yet. The threat of them getting a nuclear weapon, they're not complying, they're not negotiating. So Israel's like, we can't take the chance. And for the last 45 years since the takeover in Iran, they've done nothing but preach death to America, death to Israel. So, I mean, is that somebody you're okay with having a nuclear weapon?
No, and I personally feel like Trump was fine with the attack. Like I don't think it upset Trump at all. And there's some people that even believe he knew it was coming before it was done.
I believe that, because I think on our last show, or maybe it was just before the vacation, we didn't get the pre-record or anything, but we talked about how his reaction wasn't that somebody 100% in the loop or somebody guilty of an action, but definitely aware of it.
Right.
Troll says nuke is just an excuse. I don't know why that keeps doing it. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gabbard. Every time I put a comment up there, it switches Leo and Vince. That's
Why does
funny.
it do that?
I don't know. Gabbard testified they didn't have one. No, and I get it, and they might have one, whatever. I mean, I have no love for the regime in Iran. The people, though, I mean, yeah, I can sound like Trump. I've known people from that region, from Iran, from Iraq. They were good people. There is no switch guy. It's all me.
Yeah.
And, so I don't know. I don't know. Now, Do we have interest in the area? Yeah, we have troops. We do have troops in Israel, which we should probably pull them out. We have troops all over that region, and definitely a regime change in Iran will provoke some instability. Now, Iran is huge. It's way bigger than Iraq, way bigger than Afghanistan. It's way more, it's got a vast difference in landscape and terrain. And the people, though, are an amazing people, but they're controlled by radicals. Now, if you go back 40 years, or you talk to our parents, and if they knew anything about Iran back then, they were on the progressive end in the Middle East. They were beautiful women and bikinis. It was one of the most modern countries in Europe. And the Ayatollah, I believe, or whatever they call them, overthrew the Shah, which was kind of like their last monarchy. It was like the king. And what was my time? 6-minute mile. Yeah. So I don't know. How do you feel? Like, do we support Israel? Do we stay completely out of it?
I mean, I feel the same way I did about Russia and Ukraine. I feel like we just need to stay out of it. But us being the world power that we are, it seems like in one way or another, we've always got a hand in on it. And whether it's financially, looking to make a profit, or in this case, maybe trying to keep nukes out of the hands of a certain country that we know might want to use it on us down the road, in one way or another politically. It just seems like any war that breaks out, somehow we have to be in it.
Well, I mean, here's probably the toxic masculinity in me is, what they say about men and how many times a day do they think about the Roman Empire, and if you've done any research on the Roman Empire, how it's been like prolonged and somewhat survived over centuries, into the Byzantine, which was considered the Roman Empire. This whole area is used to being dominated by an overlord of some kind, and it doesn't mean it has to be us, but at the same time, if it's not us, these countries are more modern than they were back during the Ottoman Empire and stuff like that, which wasn't very long ago. So it's definitely a national security threat, I believe, but I don't know if I would be sending in more artillery like Strike Group 11, the USS Nimitz, which is kind of weird. If you know anything about the USS Nimitz, it's an aircraft carrier, but it's part of the Strike Group 11, which has got a whole bunch of ships involved. I've got a video we can play, and it's definitely a show of presence in the area. What's odd, though, is the USS Nimitz is supposed to be decommissioned in like a month or two.
Right.
And that ties into another side story I want to share, but I want to play this video. Did you have something to say first, Leo?
I was going to say, how you said that, how do we feel about this? Like, how do we feel about America being what we do and stuff like that, or if we will support it or anything like that, right? I just feel like no matter what happens anywhere around this flat earth, we
around, but you said around this flat earth.
Well, some people, that's why I was giving it to the people that think about it, that it's round and flat earthers. That see, Mike, you lost my thought.
The war in Iran. Sorry.
That
no matter what.
That we always have our hand in on it, right?
That no matter what we do or where we go, what country or whatever, we were always going to have our hand in it, regardless of what. Why? Because that's just who we are. We'll have the money, we'll have the power, we'll have whatever they need for us to back up. But now then, this is the tricky part, is who will we back up when it comes to war? This like real shit to go
and here's
hit the fan. Like,
and here's
who are we really going to be on what side and whose side?
Right. And we got to be in on everything if you're going to stay the world power.
And that's my point.
But
it's almost survival. It's empire survival.
That's part of the
have to.
that's part of the problem we were having with Biden running things. And they were we were looked at as a laughing stock. We weren't the power. Other countries were thinking how weak we were with Biden running the country. And that's the thing we've gotten back to with Trump is they respect us. So when we've got our hand in on something, they pay attention. But, you know, with somebody like Biden running the country, because it really wasn't Biden running the country, billionaires that were running the country, you know, we start losing that.
Obama holdovers, deep
that's what they wanted. They didn't want us to be the world power. I still believe China had a lot to do with it. I think China was running this country behind the scenes a little bit.
Probably
trying to, at least,
I mean,
using
everybody
money
wants
to do
to
it.
blame the Jews for everything, and yeah, I mean, it's one of the most ancient peoples that are still in existence today, and they're definitely not trustworthy at all, especially with their intelligence agency. We don't know who's running it, Trump or the Jew donors. Yeah. I mean, I don't trust any of them. I do think that Trump has been consistent in his stance when it comes to Iran, but he's also been consistent about not starting any wars. So it would be nice to not see his legacy be known for a war in Iran, you know, because right now his legacy is America first. I mean, he can still ride that wave, but as soon as we start dropping bunker busters in Iran,
right.
His legacy now is just like that of George Bush with Iraq, you know, and his dad with Iraq, and with the rest of them, and with Syria and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to play out good for his legacy for his administration or not. But this is more on Strike Group 11. Hold on, let's
route to the Middle East. As of this afternoon, the Nimitz was spotted with its escort ships transiting westbound in the Malacca Strait between Singapore and Indonesia. On board the carrier, 4 F-A-18 strike fighter squadrons out of Lemoore Naval Air Station. Those are VFA-22, VFA-94, VFA-137, and VFA-146. A typical VFA squadron includes 10 to 12 aircraft, 22 officers, and just under 200 enlisted personnel.
The Nimitz is joining the USS Carl Vinson, now leading carrier Strike Group 1 in the Arabian Sea. The Vinson is also carrying 4 strike fighter squadrons out of Lemoore as part of Carrier Air Wing 2. These are VFA-2, VFA 113,
hold on, we got
VFA
some comments here from
192,
CJ.
and VFA 97, which flies the new F-35C stealth fighter jet. Together, the 2 carriers are carrying 8 of Lemoore Naval Air Station's 16 assigned operational strike fighter squadrons, about 1,700 personnel in all. A lot of people think it's just the pilots, but again, there's so much support also there with them. And it's not just the U.S. Navy. Overnight, more than 31 U.S. Air Force aerial refueling tankers also deployed across the Atlantic to European bases. This is file video you're looking at.
Now, the planes are used to refuel U.S. military aircraft in
this
flight.
Is major.
Each tanker can refuel roughly 20 aircraft. Aerial refueling is used to extend the range of military aircraft on long range.
Anyways, so I mean, I'm not all for war, but we definitely have to maintain our stance of strength and leadership through strength. Mayport is a big Navy port in Florida. Yeah. CJ from the Spark Free Press comments, they're in Connecticut, Take Back Connecticut Live. They have a couple events lined up around Connecticut. They're trying to win back the Republican Executive Committee for actual conservatives. Connecticut politics, if you know anything about it, you would think it's a lost cause, but there are some great candidates out there. They just need the exposure, and unfortunately, they need the funding to be able to play against the machine. And in the machine in New England, if you know anything about it, especially Connecticut, the machine is not in your favor. It's not working for you. But they've got the Trump bus or the Trump motorhome. They're surrounded by liberals, the Spark Free Press, and logical conservatives. Stay tuned for updates. Yeah. So they're up there poking the bear, Waterbury, Connecticut, and areas like that. Take a look at it if you are watching from Connecticut. Make sure you follow Shattering the Narrative on X, Exposed Narrative, X, letter X, Exposed Narrative, and everywhere else you get your content, Rumble, Shattering the Narrative, and all that. But anyways, big show of force we're sending over there, and Trump's been out there saying to the Ayatollah, we know where you're hiding. You know, we can kill you if we want to. You know, Trump is saying that. They're almost talking like we are fully involved in what Israel's doing, like we're the ones doing it. And I think it's dangerous language, because I think we could stay out of it, just like we could stay out of Ukraine and deal with what there's left to deal with afterwards. I mean,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we should stay out of it, but
what if that
I
means
think
letting Israel annihilate Tehran? What if that means Israel is the superior force and they're victorious in a regime change in Iran?
I think if it got close to that point, I would expect them to try to negotiate. We would get involved in trying to negotiate a stop to it. But if we couldn't, we stay out of it and let what happens.
Oh yeah, for sure. But then again, that's us though. Like, we're so nosy. Instead of just scooting back and saying, "Hey, whatever, man. Like, you guys figure it out."
Well,
at the end of the day, once you guys are done, then I'll come and help you guys fix whatever you guys need fixing. But other than that, clean your hands, man. Just
one of the reasons that we always get involved, though, is that we don't want to see anybody else getting stronger.
Okay, but they're not.
Because right now, as things are,
well, they've been preaching
we're
death
at the
to
top.
America for 45 years.
Right.
Do we really want them to have a nuclear missile, nuclear warhead? Not at all.
But is it? I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is it fair to keep a country from having one? If we have one, other countries have them. I mean, I agree with not wanting them to have one. I agree 100%. But
yes, I think it's absolutely fair and okay to expect a third world goat roper not to have nuclear capabilities. Now they're allowed to have the technology and enrichment for nuclear energy, and there's a big threshold. You don't have to enrich it so much just for the energy, and they've already taken it past that. So there's supposedly evidence, of course, like weapons of mass destruction evidence, but there's supposedly evidence from the IAEA that they've already blown past that, and they could be producing enriched uranium to the point to where
it wouldn't surprise me one bit if they've already got it ready to go.
Right, and that's what's scary. So I almost feel like we just stay out of it.
Because if the role was reversed, we would be making it behind their backs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We would have it.
Now, what happens if the Nimitz gets hit in the Mediterranean and they sink it and it looks like it's the Iranians? Now, what happens if they kill some of our soldiers, if they attack one of ours? Because, I mean, obviously, just like Ukraine is obviously who we support and who we're probably funding. So by right, I wouldn't be surprised if Iran struck or tried to strike U.S. interests.
Yeah, and if that happened, if they did that, Mike, we'll probably end up getting involved. I don't know if I can see Trump biting his tongue and sitting on his hands on that. You know, like
he can't. But then again, there goes. I mean, he's going to have a lot of friction.
And I think right now, with the false media out there right now, the false narrative, right now they want everybody to think he's starting this war. They want, because they know it doesn't. It just gives them more firepower at him. So even if he's not getting involved as much, like right now, it sounds like we're involved a lot in what's going on. But is that true, or is that just part of the left, the false narrative that they want us to, so they have more ammo against what Trump's doing? So he's starting war now. People are dying because of Trump now.
Right. Well, I mean, it's still. Did you ever hear about the USS Liberty?
Yeah.
And I know John and Eddie and them talked about it last night on the TGI Now podcast, and not a lot of people know the story. I watched some documentaries. I'm not very well versed in it, but Troll says the midterms will be a bloodbath if we get involved too much. I think they're already lost. I feel like the midterms are already gone. Even local elections, I think, are fucked. But anyways, the USS Liberty, it was a ship that we had sent over there. It was on its way home, and I do have it pulled up here, but I should probably read from the Wikipedia. course, it's not going to show it. What the hell? Damn, you hear that bird out there? Anyways, the USS Liberty incident was an attack on the United States Navy technical research ship, a spy ship actually, USS Liberty, by Israeli Air Force jet fighter aircraft and Israeli Navy motor torpedo boats. So aircraft and torpedo boats on June 8th, 1967. June 8th. So, you know, it's June, isn't it? During the 6-day war, the combined air and sea attack killed 34 crew members, naval officers, seamen, 2 Marines, and 1 civilian NSA employee, wounded 171 crew members, and severely damaged the ship. At the time, the ship was in international waters north of the Sinai Peninsula, about 25 nautical miles northwest from Egyptian city Arish. Israel apologized for the attack, saying that the USS Liberty had been attacked in error after being mistaken for an Egyptian ship. Both the Israeli and United States governments conducted inquiries and issued reports that concluded the attack was a mistake due to Israeli confusion about the ship's identity. Others, including survivors of the attack, have rejected these conclusions and maintained that the attack was deliberate. Thomas Hinman Moorer, the 7th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, accused President Lyndon B. Johnson of having covered up the attack was a deliberate attack. In May 1968, the Israeli government paid $3.32 million to the U.S. government compensation for the families of the 34 men killed in the attack. In March 1969, Israel paid further $3.57 million to the men who had been wounded. And in December 1980, it agreed to pay another $6 million as the final settlement for material damage to the ship, plus 13 years of interest. And at the time, this was, I watched interviews with men on this boat, and they said they did their flybys first and literally saw their flag, waved at them, and then they did their loop around, and it was just like they were given their target to feast on. And it was a pretty sick. What do we got here? We've got some comments. Ancestor 6066. I don't know who you are. I'm not adding you to my stream, but be sure to give us a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe, and comment on our content. And definitely, how can Israel attack an American ship, kill Americans, and get away with it? Right. I don't understand.
So I mean, the only reason I can see that he would have covered it up is he didn't want to go to war.
I think there weren't supposed to be survivors. I think this was supposed to be, that USS Liberty was supposed to be a total black flag event for us to do this 40 years ago. Or what is it? 67? What? 50, 40, 55, 56 years ago.
You mean for us to go to war?
Yes. For us to do this 55 years ago to Iran.
But why would there, having been survivors, change it where it's a cover up?
Because they were able to say these were Israelis.
Oh,
we weren't supposed to know those were Israelis that attacked the USS Liberty. I feel I'd have to go back, and it's been a while since I watched the documentaries, but maybe John Crappie, who's in the comment section, could let us know. But I know he's up on the USS Liberty, but it's definitely concerning, especially since, ironically, we're sending the USS Nimitz over there that's due to be decommissioned, just like I believe the Liberty was supposed to on its way home.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know. And then, of course, so this is going to drive a wedge in between Trump and his base. I mean, we saw the fight since we met last. We haven't had a chance to talk about Elon leaving the administration, which his time was up, 120 days or whatever it was. He wasn't a fan of the big, beautiful bill, which I don't know who should be, but maybe he was offended that we still had the administration still has to play the game to get any results when it comes to funding. But I'm in favor of, I'm on Elon's side with that. I don't think they should have voted for any of that crap. But Doge cuts. They finally passed some Doge cut. I didn't really buy into the rift between Elon and Trump.
Right.
I think it was just theatrics. I think I don't think it was anything that crazy that we should have played into. But what was happening in the meantime that this was distracting us, I don't know. If you have any idea, leave it in the comments. John says it was definitely a false flag, just like the Gulf of Tonkin, false flag to get us into Vietnam, and it worked. Yep, it was theater. Yeah, the Elon and the Trump thing, definitely theater. And but who's not theater, I believe, is Tucker. And Tucker Carlson seems to be at odds with Trump right now. Hold on, let's get trolls coming in here. I voted for Trump, but I feel you have to be critical of whoever is in office. The people should push policy, not elect someone and hope they do. We have to be vocal to get our interests put first. I 100% agree. And I couldn't say this enough, but it starts local, because this is where these people get their footings, not Trump's, but all the other people who actually can control things in their little part of the collective. And they start local, and they lie to us to get their jobs, just like in Connecticut. Like CJ said, he doesn't know if it's savable. Just like in Florida, that they say it's red. I don't believe every red candidate is actually a conservative. How else would you get a job in a conservative-based town?
A lot of them are just they're blue
liars.
disguised as red.
They tell you what they need
What
to
they
get the
need
job.
to get the job.
And just like in Connecticut, the Republicans there are just saying whatever. Meanwhile, they are Democrats. But
and it's human nature. I mean, if I'm going to apply for a job, and I know there's going to be other candidates with a strong resume, if I can bluff something on my resume and get that job that's going to pay me $250,000 a year, then yeah, I'm going to bluff a little bit on my resume and get the job. I mean, so in politics, that's the name of the game, is lying. It's used car salesmen are perfect for politics.
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, here's Tucker Carlson on Bannon, and there's been some banter back and forth. You know how Trump is, but supposedly Tucker had called Trump, and they talked and apologized. But here is Tucker with Bannon in the war room.
The American media generally, it's government institutions, it's this city, it's the people I used to live next to.
Maybe. We'll see. Maybe not. Huh.
DOJ to say, hey, look, here's the battle.
Science or black people or gays or transgender. What they care about is the projection of force against their enemies on the other side of the globe. That's why the Pentagon has $1 trillion budget when the country is protected by the Atlantic and the Pacific.
Right. And
what
President Trump's strategy is a hemispheric defense. What then are the steps that you're recommending if the program is we must take down the deep state, or at least make some effort at it? What would be your recommendation?
You got to get CIA under control.
He's talking
and
about
how would you do that?
By adding the number of political appointees. You know, I think CIA
He's talking about doing away with the
has,
CIA.
you know, it's a federal agency whose budget we don't know, of course. And it's not just a federal
if the president,
agency.
and I say this in all seriousness, a special government employee where you still had your podcast, you still had the Tucker Carlson network, would you go assist the president like Elon did with Doge? Would you go assist him to say, hey, give me 120 days. I will give you advice.
CIA?
No, the whole thing. CIA, Pentagon, DIA, the DNI, all of it, the FBI, DOJ, to say, hey, look, here's the battle map. Here's what we have to do, or we're not going to have, we don't really have a constitutional republic.
I mean, I'm unable to organize a sock drawer, so I don't think that I have the temperament. I don't think I have the skills for that. I'm doing.
Do you have the insight to do that? If he had other people can organize
I grew
it?
up around it. Yeah, I know.
I
I know a lot about it.
I think this has to happen.
And
I'm being very serious.
He would be killed immediately, of course. I mean,
you think you would be subject to assassination?
I don't know. I think that would be perilous. I would do it. I would do. Look, I feel like what I'm doing now. I love Trump, and I mean that. I've never. Does Trump frustrate you? Oh, of course. I mean, you've certainly been through that. but my dogs frustrate me. My kids frustrate. I mean, you get frustrated when you deal with people you love. But my core feeling about Trump, and I think it's obvious in the way I talk about him. And I don't need any more money. I don't need anything from anybody. If I didn't like Trump, I'd just say so. I actually really love Trump. I think he's a deeply humane, kind person. And I am saying this because I'm really afraid that my country's going to be further weakened by this. I think we're going to see the end of American empire, obviously. Other nations would like to see that, and this is a perfect way to scuttle the USS America on the shoals of Iran. But it's also going to end, I believe, Trump's presidency and effectively end it. And so that's why I'm saying this.
What do you mean by that? That's coming from you. That's
you get. Look, I knew Bush. I knew George W. Bush. We had, family connections to Bush. I knew Bush personally. I still see Bush sometimes, and of course, he hates me, and he does because I criticized him on Iraq, and that war is the sum total, from a historical perspective, of his administration. But I knew him, and he had all kinds of plans for the things that he wanted to do. But once domestically, right, to improve the country.
Right.
And you may agree or disagree, but in his mind, he wasn't just about the invasion of Iraq in March of 2000.
Oh, no. He was going to redo Social Security. He had all that, all types of. He was going to take care of the entitlements issue.
And he really thought it was going to work.
Yep.
And you could laugh at that or whatever, but the point is, the second you get enmeshed in a real war, not a fake, let's go bomb the villagers and declare success, though we don't even have a good track record. Why are the Houthis still there?
No,
I mean, there's a whole other question,
right,
which is how prepared is the U.S. military for a real conflict? And the answer is totally unprepared. Scary unprepared. I don't think people understand that. But anyway, the only reason I'm saying any of this is because I really, really care.
Yeah, I mean, there's room for criticism because a lot of Trump's base was the no more wars kind of base, like Troll, like me, like John. And we don't want to see our country be dragged into somebody else's conflict. We haven't fully been dragged into the Ukrainian conflict, and God forbid we do, and hopefully we don't get dragged into this. But if you look at the grand stage, you've got Iran and Israel. You've got Russia and Ukraine. Right now, Trump's got Pakistan and India under control, but it's another time bomb that China has got the lighter near the fuse on, because China pretty much owns Pakistan. But Pakistan and India are both nuclear countries. Israel is obviously a nuclear country. Russia is a nuclear country. It could get pretty. It could. This is World War III precursor if we're not already in it. In 50 years, will they think we are already in World War III on June 18th on 2025? When did World War III start? Just like Brian Barefoot, he's from up that way. Yeah, as far as fake politicians, what do you think, Troll? When will history look back and say that we're already in World War III? And when do you think that had started? But as far as civil stuff domestically, I don't know. Civil war and civil strife has never been higher than what I could remember.
Right. I feel like we've been in civil war now for, I don't know, a few years at least. I feel like inside we've been attacking ourselves. I still feel like China is a part of that, causing some of the civil war issues that we had, trying to cause problems from within. I still say I think they had a lot to do with some of that.
Hey, so talking about China and stuff like that, right? What do you think is going to happen this summer during here in the state of Florida? Because we live here in Florida during hurricane season.
You think it's going to be an active season?
Yeah, but not just if it's an active season, but with supplies and tariff and all this bullshit.
Nothing.
You think that they're going to scare people? Or I'm just saying here in the state of Florida, because you know how people go crazy.
Well,
when we get a little tropical storm or something out there, and they go crazy over water, and paper towels and toilet paper. And
for what you're saying, I think some of the people that live here are going to go a little extra crazy because of, they're going to say, oh, well, there might be a supply and demand issue because of tariffs and all. There's going to be people that are going to freak out because of it. But grand scheme of thing, I don't think it's really going to affect us.
You don't think it's going to affect us, or do you think that's what we're gonna hear. Oh, Trump is causing this. You know, it's so
Well,
expensive now, stuff like that.
Yeah, if there's any issues, they're going to blame Trump, no doubt about that.
Well, just to say that, I already have started preparing, just in case we do have a little storm or we have a little anything like that. And I believe you guys should as well. If you guys live in the state of Florida or wherever you guys live, just make sure you guys have your little first aid kit for survival, because you never know when shit like this, World War III, could actually hit. All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, all of a sudden you hear helicopters and you hear stuff just flying and lights up and stuff like you don't know. That's what I imagine. I imagine helicopters, planes dropping bombs. Just I don't know, man. Like I don't want. I can't imagine it and I can't see it. But if I could see it, that's what I see. And I want to make sure I'm ready. I want to make sure I got water, I got food, I got stuff that I need to be able to survive for at least, I don't know, a month or two, you know? It's crazy that we have to think this way.
Let me ask you guys, if we got attacked, let's just say World War III broke out and they're physically attacking us on our land, what kind of attack you think it's going to be? Like a chemical warfare? Or like Leo's saying, where helicopters are dropping people on the ground and bombs are hitting?
No, it'll be terrorist activity.
Terrorist activity? Like what kind of terrorist activity? Ooh,
poison water supply, power grid stuff,
chemical warfare.
Yeah, your typical drive a car through a crowd. That's small potatoes.
Right.
You know what?
And they can easily fuck with the water supply, and
that's what I'm most scared of, is that kind of warfare, like where they attack our food supply, water supply.
If you lose electricity, half the population is gone within the first year.
Oh yeah, sure.
So you just look at the people next to you; half of them are gone.
Could you imagine the anarchy
in the first year? Yeah.
Could
it's survival. What do you do? We talked about this before. Like, we're close to a main interstate, right? 95. Let's say you wake up tomorrow, there's no electricity, no internet, no cell phone, no nothing.
Drive down the road so far and then
right. How far do you go?
Right. Before you turn around.
Right. And say, oh, I got to go back and get my shit, fortify my, like, if there's no electricity 20 miles away, still 30 miles away, and you still have no idea what the hell's going on.
I'm not going to go that far and waste my gas.
Do you stop and talk to people? Or do you, if you see people at the intersections, gas stations getting pissed off?
Nope.
Do you put yourself in a vulnerable position?
Nope.
But how do you find out what's going on? You know?
I mean, hopefully the
Mike, I don't find out.
Radios will still work.
Listen, Mike, I don't find out, and I don't go do that because I already knew this was going to happen. So I stay put.
Let the other toilet paper and paper towels and a couple cases of water.
And that's when I'm gonna be like, hey, listen, oh, you got gold? That's when gold and silver is gonna come. Why do you think I'm not buying? I'm not buying it. I'm not buying gold and silver because they're gonna come to me. And that's how I'm going to be able to do
eventually, even the gold and silver.
You guys are laughing, but
listen, eventually, even the gold and silver ain't going to matter. It's going to be like food, ammo, that kind of shit.
I'm going to be sitting like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean. You know, with
but with no news and no information, I think hysteria or, panic sets in, and it's going to be kind of crazy.
It would be total anarchy. Like, imagine I don't know, like one of your first things is going to be like, oh shit, maybe I need to be the first guy to break in the grocery store and go get some food and shit, some canned food. But just, I mean, how many people are going to be doing shit like that? Raiding stores.
Have it stocked now so that you don't have to do all that stuff, Vince. Because remember, man,
yeah, but no matter how much you have right now, all of a sudden that happens, you're going to feel like you ain't got enough.
Well, yeah, but still.
I don't.
But I know I'm going to at least have something.
I mean, we've got some stuff,
nothing,
but it's, I mean, what, maybe a couple weeks?
But it's crazy, though, that I'm saying that we have to think this way, man, because when it comes to that point, I won't be able to trust you guys. I'm sorry. You won't be able to trust anybody.
You're going to have to trust a few people and gang together. It's survival, man. You ain't going to be able to survive on your own. Yeah.
Honestly, like I wouldn't want to be where I'm at. Like I'd almost want to say, like,
it's a Walking Dead scenario.
We all need to go to the same location and like set up for war.
Right, but the good thing is, like, if you guys keep me around, we'll be able to communicate with the Hispanics and be like, hey, look, we'll trade you guys this, we'll trade that. So we are all a resource that we can help each other out one way or another to be able to survive. I'm just saying, man. I'm gonna go into survivor mode.
Mike's like, I don't need you. My daughter speaks Spanish.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. She won't speak it in front of me. All right, there is another story I wanted to share, but the freaking page keeps getting booted off of my feed here. So hold on, let me pull it up in Chrome, which we might end up seeing some ads. So I apologize, but there is a sad story. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but then somebody I ran into today during my normal work commute mentioned it. Who is it? Actually, John from Cap's Pizza and Pub in Vero Beach. Shout out to John at Cap's Pizza. They got some excellent food. If you're in Vero Beach, check him out. He is actually, let's say a prayer for him. They are flying out tonight to go to London for a cruise of the UK, I guess. So he's a little bit nervous, but shout out to Johnny at Caps. All right, so let's see if this will let me share this page all of a sudden. And I think it's working. Yep, it's working. So 796 dead babies hidden in a septic tank at a home run by nuns. That's a lot of babies. 796. Let me see if I can read this because it's not on my normal monitor.
That's a lot.
Quiet walled patch of grass in the middle of an Irish housing estate is set to reveal the latest disturbing chapter in Ireland's mother and baby home scandal. Beneath the ground at this peaceful spot in the town of Tuam, 220 kilometers west of Dublin, significant quantities of human remains have been identified. The land attached to a home run by nuns between 1925 and 1961 was left largely untouched after the institution was knocked down in 1972. So you're talking like 50-something years ago. But on Monday, evacuation crews will seal off the site before beginning the search for remains next month. There are so many babies, children just discarded here. Oh my goodness. Local historian Catherine Corliss told AFP at the site. It was her discovery of the unmarked mass burial site that led to an Irish commission of investigation into the so-called mother and baby homes. In 2014, the now 71-year-old produced evidence that 796 children from newborns to a 9-year-old died at the mother and baby home. Her research pointed to the children's likely final resting place as a disguised septic tank discovered in 1975. There are no burial records for the children, no cemetery, no statue, no cross, absolutely nothing. That's pretty freaking tragic.
Fuck
man.
yeah.
796. And it was over like a long period of time. It was a mother, like a home for, wedlocked mothers. And back in those days, it was not, very well to be known if you were pregnant, if your daughter was pregnant and not married or anything, you send her away for the summer, quote unquote.
Comes back.
So go to Florida Island, be safe. Yeah, right. Maybe a lot of kids that died from natural causes and they didn't bury them. That could be. Yeah, like definitely during those times, disease and stuff like that. Ireland was not like, you'd think of it as a modern country, but it's been a shithole too since they were fighting with England and the UK. Old people didn't give a fuck. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, old Europe, man, did things a little different, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully they said a prayer for him. But, fanatics, there's fanatics in every religion, and who the hell knows what was going on there. What else do I got? I had some No Kings footage. Did you guys want to see that? Did you want to see what these No Kings were? Let's see. Can't hear it. It's 7 hours time with this headphone. It's all you can hear is fire. in front of them. Well, that was pretty short. What about this one?
Oh, damn.
This is one that got me. Like, how would you like to have your livelihood here? Just come on in and take a shit. I saw one guy fighting people off. It was like there was too many of them.
Everybody's hopping out to free beer. Poor guy. He's like, I don't know what to do.
Shit like this would never happen to No, Mike. Like,
it would because they'd have to pay for protection.
Shot your ass.
Or just like in old Italy or old America, you have to pay for protection. Somebody you're more scared of.
What kind
Just to be scared of.
Mike, just to tell you this, if you're going to go to take a shit out in the public, like in a public bathroom, you have to pay to use the restroom at a public place.
That's all I got.
You literally have to pay money to use the restroom, and then they'll give you like two or three sheets of toilet paper, and that's it.
Jesus.
That's it. So you're gonna tell me that you can't even take a comfortable shit at a fucking bathroom, and they're gonna let yahoos do stuff like this?
Well, hopefully John from Caps, John Capiabanco, I think that's how you say
toilet
it,
paper.
has some roll of Members Mark or Downy toilet paper in his suitcase for his trip.
Downey's
to,
the picker upper, so
for his trip to the UK, because you never know. The
beer
beer is
good,
pretty
John.
thick
We'll
over
see you
there.
back, man.
Well, I want to say thank you to Troll for being in the comments. Thank you, John. John's our business partner at Indian River Connections. Make sure you check out IndianRiverConnections.com. We're branding IRC Media to include all of our content at some point. We would like to expand a little different variety with some of the other people we're working with. So definitely give us a follow at Indian River Connections, To The Point Podcast. We've got a bunch of channels. If you follow us on X, you'll see I post a lot of them. And these follow trains, they're not all strangers. Some of them are channels we promote and produce. So if you would, give us a like and a follow and a comment and share any of the content that might align with your thoughts and views. So, and share our channel with your friends, man. And if you're watching, all 24 of you, hit the thumbs up, please. It's encouraging. We are streaming to Facebook, YouTube. We're actually on Twitch tonight. We're on X. We're on Rumble. And we are on Kick also. So we appreciate you. And thank you again. We'll see you next week. Yeah, hopefully, as long as the planets stay in where they're supposed to, we'll be here next Wednesday at 8 p.m. for episode 122. You guys got anything else?
No, that's about it, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place.
Say the break to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel their crying. Truth on the mic while they keep lying. They wanna cancel, they wanna control, but we got the truth, we breaking the mold. Speak your mind, don't let them bind. Words cut through, sharper than a sword of kind. Senses just raw, no filter to stop. Voices rise up from the bottom to top. Feelings don't matter when the truth